Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. So we've had a big sell-off here. And look, it's not big in percentages, but it's a big sell-off in the sense that it's causing a lot of volatility, a lot of situations for retail traders such as you and I. And I wanted to cover what I think is the problem at the moment in the markets, and then I want to go into, do we still have hope of a bull run in 2025, and then where do I see 2025 playing out for the markets? And I'll be covering two markets. These are the two markets I usually trade, which are crypto and the stock market, the US stock market in particular, but the stock market as a whole. The reason why we had the sell-off yesterday was just purely NVIDIA sold off. So I wanted to share my chart here with you guys, share what I think of NVIDIA and the situation, and how I think it's been played out by institutions at the moment to manipulate NVIDIA and manipulate the stock market as a whole, especially after Trump's election. Okay, so I'm going to share my chart really quickly. 5.8% drop in NVIDIA. And it was right after the price hit all-time highs. Now, that's very significant because to me, what that signals is there were some institutions, big players here willing to sell, wanting to sell NVIDIA at these levels. And I did a video a couple of days ago, which I posted, which is like 3 industries that I think will do well in January. Semiconductors were moving really well. They were showing momentum. NVIDIA was the reason why most semiconductors were pushing up higher. We saw NVIDIA moving up higher here, all-time highs, and then a big sell-off. We had the CEO of NVIDIA at a conference speaking, and that should have been a positive event. It was a negative event, and the market wasn't really aware of what was happening and why it was selling off. For me, I think it's just a pure manipulation play in the sense that they drove price higher, saying that the market is going to move up higher in January, etc., etc. Semiconductors are going to do well. NVIDIA is going to do exceptionally well. Price goes up all the way here, comes back down. This is why NVIDIA wasn't one of the picks I gave for semiconductors. AMD was one though, and GCTS, which is actually in a better position because I actually saw some profits going into the momentum, and then now I'm sitting around break even. So with NVIDIA, I will say that this looks like a clear manipulation, dragged down the whole market. And the other reason that isn't really related to yesterday, but I think we might be seeing some situations that are happening this coming week. FOMC minutes coming in today around 7 p.m. UK time. And then we have non-farm payrolls coming in tomorrow, Friday, and unemployment rates in the US. So FOMC minutes, big event here, especially coming after Jerome Powell's speech, where he mentioned that the jobs market is cooling off, inflation is a fear, Trump coming in is also causing inflationary fears. These are all kind of combining to create fear in the market. And I was seeing earlier last week that we were seeing more bearish sentiment in the market overall. Now, when I look at the markets, I like to look at the S&P 500, and something that I noticed today that I thought was quite interesting was we essentially haven't actually gained anything since the 6th of November in the S&P 500. So although we pushed up higher on the 6th here, and we opened quite strong, since the 6th, since the re-election of Trump, what's actually happened is, yes, we went up higher to 6,100 and then we came back down. We've been sitting at an average price of around 5,900. That's very, very significant to me because around this level is where at the moment we're seeing a lot of interest for puts and a lot of interest for calls. And I think the market makers, the institutions are trapping retail traders. We saw a lot of retail traders coming in November I think it was around 100 and something billion coming in November. I can't recall correctly, but it was 100 something billion coming in November. We saw a lot of investors coming in with leverage as well, a lot of options being bought around this period here as well since Trump's election. So retail really pushed into the market, really believed that there was going to be another bull run almost instantly off of the high of Trump's re-election. Yes, we did see a boost. We saw some markets like crypto doing really well. We know that Bitcoin jumped around 50% since the re-election of Trump. So if we go to Bitcoin here, USDT, we basically saw Bitcoin move up around 40%. Then it started showing weakness. We've also saw some other. We also saw some other markets like quantum computing that did really well. I was invested in that with QBTS and IonQ, and a number of other sectors. Tesla did really well as an individual stock, even though EVs didn't do necessarily too well, and they were only showing signs of doing well the last few days in early January. All of these markets did really well. However, the S&P 500 stayed flat, so the breadth in the market was very, very weak. That's something that I covered in other videos, and I'm going to be covering more and more. But the breadth is a problem, and with the S&P 500, guys, I'll be covering my predictions a bit later, but I want to go into crypto now. We saw a big sell-off in crypto, and I was invested quite heavily in crypto. I had Bitcoin around 68,000. I'd bought around 67, 68,000 here. I sold it around the break-even area. I didn't like it anymore, especially with this candlestick coming down here. Yesterday it was 5.8%. I didn't really like it, so I sold it around break-even. Ethereum, I sold it for a small loss. I really don't like the look of this, because what we have here essentially is 6 days of gains eaten in 1 day. And of course, selling is more aggressive than buying, and the rise of coins is usually a little bit slower. But the selling here, very, very aggressive. And if we don't find support around 3,300, 3,280, we're probably going all the way back down to 3,000 and then 2,800. So I sold off all of my crypto. I think overall profit was around overall loss in those trades, because they were recent trades that I took on the 2nd of Jan, was around 2% on my whole account, which is nothing. But you got to also remember that if I accept that loss and I wait for this risky dip here and I hold for longer, I could have seen a potential loss of around 20% of my account, which made no sense to me. And this is why I do swing trading, and obviously manage my positions and minimize risk as much as possible. So yeah, I'm out of crypto here. It's a 50-50 situation at the moment, not really of interest to me. Right now, I would be open to a short, and the reason why I say that is Bitcoin has potential to go to 81,000. I shared this in my Telegram group a couple of weeks ago when we were getting a few dips here in late December. And I thought, fine, we could probably get a breakout below this area, and then we're going to go to 81. I was looking for either a break below here or a break above here. We got a break above here for the continuation, which failed clearly. And then now a break below 91K, 92K is on the cards for a move all the way to 81K here. So another significant drop. I think from 102K, it's a 20% drop. So that's 20% that they're eating into either into your profits if you entered earlier in the year, or 20% that you're losing if you entered around this 100 level. So that's what I'm playing here. I'm playing this bottom. Where do I see crypto going? In reality, I want to see how it reacts here now after this dip. I was expecting a dip, but I wasn't expecting it after a move up higher. I was expecting it around here. So this now, it becomes a different picture. So I want this to go all the way down to 90, 91K. Then we'll see what happens. That's when I'll decide whether I'm thinking long or short. At the moment, it's looking as almost a guarantee that we're going to go to around 91, 92K. And then maybe even a little bit deeper. So that's something to watch out for, guys. If you are in crypto, bear that in mind. Now with S&P 500, what I'm looking at, and I'm not really too worried at the moment where we are. I did say that this 5,900 level is a key area for options to expire and many basically of interest as well. So going up higher or going lower. For me, anything above 5,800, we're still safe. And we still have that potential for a bull run in 2025. Once we go below 5,800, then I start worrying a little bit because this would be a significant dip. 5,700, then I think we get a really big buy up for moving up higher. So maybe that's what we're waiting for. At the moment, we're finding support around 5,800, and there's a good reason, like I mentioned earlier in the video. Options expiring around these levels, indecision by the markets, high retail participation, and institutions looking to benefit from that. Now, moving forward, if we do hold this area, the next levels that I see are probably in line with institutions. 6,300 is here, probably around March. In 2025, I do predict that we're going to get a 10% drop. So if we can either get one around March, or we can get one that would take us all the way back to 5,700, or we could get one when we hit 6,700 and we come back down all the way to 6,000 again. Okay, that's another option. So that could be mid-year after Q1, and then the final option right now, which is also likely because of Trump's inauguration, and typically presidential inaugurations bring volatility and uncertainty, could also happen now. You could say this is a dip of around 10% here to 5,600 or 5,500. That is the only thing that worries me in the market at the moment. I did sell some of my stocks. Not as worried about stocks as I am with crypto because of obviously the percentages. The dip could be 20-30% for stocks. My account can only really go minus like 4 or 5% maximum, or lose around 5% from the highs that I'm in because I'm holding some really good stocks long term, and also I'm in profit in most of my stocks because I trade with momentum. But that's the situation. I wanted to cover it here really quickly, share it with you guys. Now, if you guys enjoyed the content and are looking to get more content like this, subscribe to the channel. I will be making more content. Also, go and follow me on all of my social medias and join the Telegram group. In the Telegram group, I cover all of this instantly. I share it for free. I don't charge anything. I'm not selling signals. I'm not really selling anything. I have a private members group somewhere else, so there's no need for me to sell you on that free group for free members on Telegram, where I do share all of these insights as and when I think of it, or as and when I think it's useful for the traders there. All right, take care and see you next time.